welcome to Write On Wednesday. Finally, I am going to share a tip with you today, and it's how to jump back on track when you've walked away from a writing project for a day, 2 days, a month. Because I can tell you I have slacked in my writing. I use, at least for the 2 writing projects that I am doing right now, I am using the 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter method. I learned it through Katie Tastic. I will link her video down below. And really, this is the first time I have spent as much time as I did outlining, but I'm learning. I'm glad I did, because I'm able to pick back up where I left off whenever I need to take a break. So I have created I'm gonna flip this around. I'm gonna show you. I kind of just wrote an example because I don't want to give you any sneak peeks of what I'm writing right now. Okay, I will take, and of course at the top I have the chapter that I'm working on. And then I'll write kind of a small example of a scene. And here you're seeing 3 scenes that will be written into this chapter. It's kind of just the gist and the flow of how I want that chapter to be. So the first portion that I would write was James goes to work and discovers that in a board meeting he faces, and it's supposed to be an interrogation. So I know that the scene that I need to write has to kind of flow with that. So without giving too many details that I have to stick to, I just want to explain the scene that I'm writing. And then, it leaves a little wiggle room if I want them to smash together with the next scene, or if I'm just kind of going with another character. In this particular example, there's 3 main characters, and I say main, but there's 3 priority characters that I'm speaking about. And so having this listed, it gives me the freedom, if I wanted to. Say I don't know how I really want to go about the interrogation part. I can skip that part of this chapter, even though I wanted it to be at the beginning, and I can start with the Samantha chapter. And as long as I put the Samantha in the same color, I would just highlight her name and then start that scene. Then it's easy if I wanted to go back to the James. Say I write this scene because it's easiest in my mind to write at that time. So I'll write it, and then I would go back to James or go down to the next one. But I usually just kind of highlight their names so that I know where I'm at up here. Say, once I get all of this scene, we're going to start with Samantha's scene. So I would start typing, of course, obviously. And then so this would be here, but once I get this scene completely done, I will go through and delete it. And I would leave her name. Or you could go in and put just the notation that Samantha's scene is complete. That way I already know up top that it's done. A lot of times though, I would delete it, but I don't tend to start in the middle of my scene options for the chapter. I tend to try to start at the beginning, but there have been times I've jumped. I would write just a sentence of the first scene and then highlight the James, or the first part in this yellow. I would leave this here and then go to the next scene, which is Samantha's, and start typing it. And then I would maybe highlight her name if I didn't finish it, and then go continue, or I would go down to Barbara. And if I say I need to go cook dinner or whatever, I would highlight where Barbara's scene started in the pink, and then move on. So most times, especially in the one I'm doing now for Fearless, there are 4 main characters, and they are equally as important. and their scenes are all over the place, sometimes mixed with each other. And so for me, I keep each character with the same color for every chapter that I begin, just so I know who is who and what is what. But once I get this chapter written, I just go back and I delete this. I don't need this up here anymore once the chapter is finished, because I already have my outline to refer back to whenever I'm editing. And that is my biggest tip. My biggest tip for whenever you come back to a project that you have stepped away from for a while. And it's so okay to do that, because there are times where we have to step back. We have to kind of walk away from a project. Either we're burnt out or we just need a little bit of clarity, or we just need some time. Things happen. 2020 has taught us all life is going to happen whether you want it to or not. And there are going to be some things in the moments that you're going to face that you might not want to face. So hang in there. Know that we all tend to take a break from writing, and sometimes it's a longer intended break. But this particular tip will help you stay on track. It will help you to be able to jump back into the writing project, and it will be able to give you a little bit more focus where you don't have to go back and read every scene that you've written up into the point you took a break. You can start exactly where you left off. So that is my biggest tip for you on Write On Wednesday. If you are writing, I would love to hear what you are writing. You don't have to tell me your storyline, just that, hey, I'm writing a novel or I'm writing a novella. Maybe you're writing a song. Maybe you're writing a nonfiction self-help book. I would love to know so that I can encourage you along the way. Writing is an art. Writing is an art. And every single one of us have a story within. It's just a matter if you got the guts to share it. Writing takes a lot of guts. And I'm going to tell you my favorite part about writing is when you start and you can outline. In fact, I told you I did the 3-act, 9-block, 27 chapter method. And by doing that, I tend to have to go in and add extra chapters along the way, because my characters take on characteristics of their own. They become alive in the story, and some things have to be adjusted. Sometimes your outline has to be adjusted, so you always leave wiggle room for that, and always know that you can add a chapter or take a chapter out, expand if you need to. So there's never one writing method that works for everybody. And up until this novel, I was not much of a outliner at all. I did not do much plotting. I was very much a prantser, and I still am when I'm writing the chapter that I've outlined. It's like that is my guideline. That's a perfect example of my guideline. It leaves lots of room for prancing. I don't write out all the details. I want that to come forth in the story as it comes alive, because to me, when you're reading a book, and I love reading, and I have not made enough time for it. When you're reading a book, for me, I can it's like reading a movie happening before you, where you're reading the story, you're reading the details, and yet the story comes alive in your mind. That is what I want to bring to every reader who reads one of my stories. They're just a story, and not all of them have happy endings. I had considered doing my own audio version of My Dirty Little Secret, only because why not? And read it chapter by chapter for you guys. But I don't know. I haven't decided if I really want to do that or not. You Are More is a good story too. We'll see. that might be something I do in going into 2021. I really want to get these 2 projects finished so that I can begin all the other projects I want to start. All the other projects I want to start. There's so much. There's so many things I have my hands in that I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, keep writing. Keep letting the stories tell themselves. And I will see you guys in the next video.